I am ashamed of myself. I am ashamed that I fell prey to the circumstances and succumbed to the engrossing darkness, losing myself in its depth. I am ashamed that this mattresses resembles coffin, and I, in resignation, lay upon them as a lifeless corpse, consumed by weariness and defeat. I fear that these curtains have never vouched for me to protect against external light, but rather failed me in darkness, forsaking the promise of protection and leaving me in intricacy. I often find myself lost on the most familiar roads. When I look back, my gaze becomes blind to the path that lies ahead. I am filled with shame as I watch these pages burn, witnessing words vanish before me without bidding goodbye. Foolishly, I stood frozen, hoping the pages would magically rewrite themselves. Yet I never found the strength to refill the ink in my pen and rewrite what was lost. The world is exhausted by the likes of me, yearning over the relentless rhythm of my failures. In my shame, I find my hopes still asleep, untouched by the dawn of renewal. I am ashamed, for even as I hold a delicate flower in my hand, my finger persistently seek out the thorns, willingly allowing them to pierce my skin, despite knowing the pain they would inflict. I must also bear the shame that my love seems to be strayed, and that my loved ones have become entwined with my setbacks and weaknesses. I am ashamed that amidst the allure of personalities promising more, some better version of myself has been lost, sacrificed for the reason unknown. Perhaps out of fear, yet maybe for the greater good. Even as I recognize myself, even as I recognize my own misinterpretation, acknowledge my weaknesses, and foresee the potential consequences, I find myself unable to compromise on principle that doesn't align with my ideals. I am burdened with shame as I recognize how my journey has been diverted by my own inability to navigate through the tumultuous wave, hindered by my ignorance of storm and heavy currents, which was initially a knowledge that has now become a lesson. Once more, I find myself amid uncertainty, grappling with self-doubt and inner complaints. However, with a renewed promise to persist, I commit to navigating through the unknown, steering forward despite feeling lost, with the destination still veiled in mystery. The strands of my hair, like silent witnesses, beseech the mirror, arguing that the reasons behind my perceived shortcomings aren't way enough to justify the shame projected onto me by the discerning eyes of the world. Like a solitary tree amidst a desert of rocks, I stand in solitude, where setbacks are evident, weaknesses flourish and enemies persist. Yet I cannot yield for the sake of those who seek shade along the journey, relying on my resilience amidst the harsh landscape of life. I must understand, I must rise above, make amends and shed this shame once and for all. A renewed hope, for I have what I must love, a new challenge that I must defeat, and adversaries that I must endure now. It is okay to be ashamed of what you were, rather than to be ashamed of what you will become. And I will find a way which is not meant to be ashamed.